it's only so, but it looks like it will, but it won't. So.
I'm loud. I'm a loud mouth. Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Harris, and I'm a very proud publisher of John's book. Has everyone got their copies? Yeah. Hope so. So from the first meeting, it's only been a year, isn't it? Yeah. That's an incredibly short time in a book's life. But we could publish it so quickly to make this date, the Spring Equinox, of course, but also because John delivered the most amazing book. You really did. So my editorial notes were very short, as in, it's really good, John. Well done. I understand everything. So we are so proud. Thank you so much for working so hard for us. So I'd like everybody to raise their glasses to your Zodiac Soul and to John.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Amanda, so much. I must just begin by telling the story of how the magic of how Amanda and I met, because, you know, most people when they have a book idea or they've written a book, they send off countless manuscripts to publishers, right, and get countless rejections. I never sent anything to a publisher ever in my life. Thanks to my very, very dear friend Flip over here, who saw her old friend Amanda at a party, came up to Flip and said, "Do you know any astrologers? I'm looking for an astrologer to write a series of books." So Flip turns up on my birthday, which is this weekend, so the day before my birthday or something, and says, "I've got the most amazing news. If this works, this could be it for you. This could be the thing, you know." And so she told me, and then I was going to Bali to write this book. Anyway, I'd already had that plan. This is what I was going to finally go and write this book that I'd had in my head and had been working the principles of for many years. I was finally going to go and write the book, and the evening that I flew, the evening that I took the plane, I met Amanda at Orion. And I didn't know what she wanted. All I knew was a series of astrology books. I didn't know if it was what I wanted to write, but I went in and I boldly suggested that this is really what, you know, Orion should want to publish, right? So it's a very confident Aries shout, you know. And thank you. You went for it, and I'm so grateful because I literally I got on that plane that night not quite believing what just happened. You know, and I ended up, and I actually wrote this in 6 weeks, so inspired by this beautiful confirmation that this is what I was supposed to be doing, and that the time was right, and yeah, so I'm really, really proud of it. I'm really delighted in the way it's been put together. Thank you so much. It's just so beautiful, you know, and thank you for yeah. I've learned so much as well about you know, how to present, because I love the content I'm confident with. The actual presentation of it on the cover I really knew nothing about, and I needed your guidance for that. Thank you for sticking to your guns, because I know that you're right in the way that it's been presented. It's the right choice on everything, so thank you. So your Zodiac Soul is based on a program, an astrological program that I've been running in Glastonbury for the last 10 years, called the Alchemical Journey. And the Alchemical Journey is based on the idea that we all carry the zodiac within us, that we carry it within our soul, within our being. It's an ancient emblem of the soul. It's as old as anything we know of in our cultural history. And the consistency of it over thousands of years is extraordinary. These images are thousands of years old, and the order of them, the way they're presented, with some slight changes, but the consistency of the way this zodiac is presented has somehow gone deep into our collective, and what Jung would call the collective unconscious. It's embedded there. So even if you've never studied the zodiac or never studied astrology, when you come to it, something stirs in your soul. It's why everybody, even people who dismiss astrology out of hand, still have a furtive peek at their sun sign column, right? They'll tell you, "I don't believe in astrology," and the next minute they're having a look at that. What's going on for Virgos today, you know? That's the funny thing, isn't it? But it's because we're living in a world where there's we're told that there's no meaning to anything, and yet deep in our soul we know that there is meaning, and that we can find meaning, and that life, what makes us human, is that quest for meaning and that recovery that our lives mean something, and that we are actually, it's not something wrong that we should like be in a state of wonder or imagination. It's the most beautiful thing about being human, isn't it? To inspire imagination. So really, the zodiac, I think, for all of us, whether we believe in it or not, I don't know if I even believe in it. I don't know if it's even something to believe in. It's something to actually experience, and the experiential approach to astrology has always been what has gripped me. And I don't just want to look at a person's birth chart and just interpret the signs. I want to know what it is, to feel it in my being. I want to know what it is to feel having Venus in Aries. I don't just want to know what I don't just need words for it. I want to actually know what it feels like. And this book is experiential. It's an experiential journey. It's a journey that, as you take it, you remember who you are. So it's not the sort of book about the zodiac you can just pick up and it's going to interpret your birth sign. It doesn't do that. It treats the zodiac as from the basis that you have all 12 of these motifs in you. So as you pick up Aries, it doesn't matter if you're an Aries or not, you will resonate with that medicine. I talk about these as medicines. And as you do, it will stir something. You may have planets. You may have been born with planets in Aries, so you recognize it straight away. Or maybe you haven't, but you know people of that sign, and you know people who carry that energy strongly. And the idea is that we realize that it's not just them that have that energy, but we all have it. But some of us have it more strongly than others. And so the journey unfolds in that way. And it's a 12-fold journey. There's something about the 12ness. We find 12 showing up as a symbolic number throughout so many cultures. And there's something beautiful and symmetrical and balanced about the number 12. It's not the whole story. There's another book that I want to write which actually addresses the 13th, this troublesome 13th sign or 13th energy which lurks around in the shadows, that it's had to be somehow removed. There is something magical about that. And the 13 cycles of the moon through the zodiac every year, of course. But this is written from respecting the 12ness of the zodiac. And maybe I'll just read a bit. I'll read a section from the introduction that might just give you a little flavour of what you might experience. Page. We see the zodiac as a 12-sign circle consisting of mainly animal representations. The word zodiac translates as a circle of animals that has been depicted with consistency and coherence for over 2,000 years in Greek, Roman, and late Egyptian temples, as well as Christian churches, numerous ancient books, tapestries, paintings, and friezes. It has also been preserved as the basis of religious observances and ritual initiations through the myths and stories of mystery traditions from Mithraism to medieval alchemy, each of which has carefully retained the correct order of the figures. So here we have a wheel of images that is also a turning wheel of time, one deeply embedded in the collective psyche as calendrical marker, astrological map, alchemical vessel, and cyclical narrative for the mystery school initiate. The zodiac offers us a series of root archetypes that provide the contextual fabric for all our human experiences. By allowing its mysteries to unfold in our imaginations, it can activate deep longings for connection to a realm of wisdom that we have temporarily forgotten. And once that realm has been glimpsed, it can hold a fascination for us as it draws us further into the mystery of who we are and who we might become. By donning the mask of each zodiac sign, learning to see through the eyes of each in turn, and embodying its archetypal energy, we can rediscover aspects of ourselves that we have neglected or overlooked. Furthermore, we become better able to accept things about ourselves and others that we might previously have found intolerable. So the main focus of this book is to elaborate on each of the 12 stages of the wheel, exploring the possibilities and challenges that confront us at each step along the way. Let me whet your appetite for what is to come with a brief sketch of each sign's manifesting potential. Aries, where we are today, right, the first day of the astrological year. Aries gives us the power of intention. Taurus, the blessing of gratitude. Gemini, the ability to communicate and articulate what we want to bring about. Cancer connects us to the deep treasure chest of our innermost feelings. Leo, to our confidence and creativity. Virgo, to our capacity to cultivate and harvest our dreams through practice and daily observance. Libra brings us into relationship and brings balance and proportion to our desires, while Scorpio confronts us with their shadow aspect and compels us to look within, to the deeper implications of who we are and what we want. Sagittarius lifts us and inspires a higher vision of what is possible for our lives, while Capricorn tests that in reality, strengthening our purpose and commitment. Aquarius inspires us with an enlightening overview so that we might consider our own dreams and wishes within the context of wider communities to which we belong and in service to them. And finally, Pisces opens our mystic eye, enabling us to feel into the true, boundless depth of our connectedness as soul beings. This all sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Well, if only it were that easy. If only it were that easy, we would all be living our dreams and manifesting our highest potential at will. The issue, as we shall see in the ensuing chapters, is that it takes courage, tenacity, intelligence, and emotional receptivity to bring this to reality. And we need to actively employ these qualities in order to address the shadow aspect of each zodiac sign as we journey around the wheel. This shadow energy, as I will refer to it from now on, seems to work against our highest potential and can undermine, even sabotage, our best intentions. So the real work is in becoming more aware of these tendencies at each stage of the wheel, noticing where they trip us up and hinder our progress. As we will see, our job is not to banish this shadow energy, but to accept it, integrate it into our awareness, and gradually coax out its hidden transforming power. In Aries, we find the courage to take a risk and begin, but we must beware of being too impulsive or aggressive in pursuit of our desires, or giving up too easily when things don't immediately go our way. In Taurus, our task is to accept and appreciate the good things that life has to offer, but in the midst of such abundance, to be wary of greed and the tendency to hold on too tightly to what we have for fear of losing it. Gemini offers us many bright and enchanting opportunities to be grasped with the keenness of our wits, but fickleness, impatience, loose talk, and instability can be our undoing here. If we can trust our intuitive feelings, Cancer offers us sanctuary, nurture, and deep connection. But the longing for home and emotional security can make us fearful and overprotective. We might just disappear into our shell, never to be seen again. While Leo graces us with the realization of the creative power within us, we must also find the courage to express that, and we can come unstuck through excessive pride and arrogance, making ourselves too central to everything around us. In Virgo, we get to the real work of manifestation and must be prepared to apply ourselves in some form of regular practice. But we can also get too pedantic, overly critical, or small-minded at this stage. As we progress into the second half of the wheel and are reminded of the balance in all things, Libra invites us into the blessing of relationship. But if we vacillate, compromise too much, or try too hard to over-accommodate another person's needs, we risk losing the authenticity of our true nature. Scorpio seeks emotional commitment and a ruthless desire for the truth. which hides itself away in dark places. But when we are overly suspicious of whatever is within and around us, we become our own worst enemy. In Sagittarius, we need the courage to adventure beyond the far horizon. Fueled with inspiration and renewed faith, we seek the meaning of life. But we can be clumsy, tactless, and self-righteous, even fanatical in our spiritual or religious beliefs. Capricorn calls us to commit to our authentic vocation in life. But in order to do that, we must face our unease around authority, the feeling of being trapped in a system that controls us, or being overly controlling in the way in which we wield our own authority. Next, our Aquarian intelligence and social awareness is called for, so that we might perceive the highest potential for all and recognize the unique contribution that we make to the world. But a certain aloofness from the human experience can render us cold, brittle, and apparently lacking in compassion. In Pisces, we drop again into the realm of deep feelings and the realization of how deeply connected we are to each other and to the universe. But as we dive deeper into this sublime knowing, we can become disintegrated from material reality, deluded, lost, addicted to anything which promises escape from the world with all its suffering. The Zodiac offers us 12 stages of initiation on the way to becoming a more complete, more aware, more compassionate human being. Our main access to the signs of the Zodiac, within mainstream culture at least, is through what we know and experience about the traits of people born with the sun in each demarcated sector of the tropical Zodiac. The recognition of those traits will be a useful touchstone as we progress through the chapters of this book. But resist the temptation to jump ahead to the chapters that relate to your own sun sign. Everybody does, of course. Or those of the people in your life, though, as this book is not structured along the lines of character delineation. Instead, it is designed so that you will meet each sign in turn, in their correct order, and each will offer up to you a perspective on the world. Some will be more familiar, and some will feel more comfortable than others. Dwell a little longer on the ones that you react against, or that seem foreign to you, as these may have the most to teach you. So, thank you. So we obviously deliberately chose this day to start, to launch the book, right? It had to be this day. I remember the conversation. I was in Bali talking to you. I said, how long do we need? You know, I've got to bring this out on the Spring Equinox. And you're like, well, that's a bit tight. And it was a bit tight, wasn't it?
But you were in Bali writing.
I was writing, yeah. I did, yeah. But we did it, and here we are. And it's an amazing, and that is an amazing thing. So, you know, if you're here today, buying the book today, you are buying it at the absolute perfect time, because, and you need to start reading it straight away, because the idea of this, I mean, the program that this is based upon, has you work it a month in each sign. So you could literally spend a month reading. I mean, the chapters are short, but they're deep, and I go deep into the myths, the symbolism, and the stories, the seasonal and cultural motifs of each sign, and it gives you the opportunity, because woven into those stories are inquiries and practices that will help you embody the medicine of each sign and explore the shadow in your relationship to that sign. So if you work with that sign while the sun is in that sign, it's the best time to do it. I mean, I've suggested various other ways, because obviously people will be buying this book in the middle of the year and at different times of the year. So you can also work with this on the moon cycles, when the moon is in Aries, spend 2.5 days in each sign, do it this way. But really the ideal way to work with this is to spend a year with it. You know, no harm in reading the other, you know, reading the whole thing first, then going back to the sign. You know, there's no harm in that. But actually just to give yourself the time to dwell in each of these perspectives for a month. And ideally, I was saying this to a couple of people earlier, if you can find somebody to work with, because the questions and the exercises are wonderful when they're shared. So if you have a friend, you know, maybe you could buy the book for your friend. and you could do it. We'd do it together. Sorry, but that was. But you could. Just to have somebody to do it with is a beautiful thing, because, like for example, in Aries, one of the questions in Aries that we ask is what was your first impression of me? It's quite a deep question. When you first saw me, what did you think? What was we never ask those kind of questions, do we? There's another question which is, how do you, what strengths do you see in me, and where do you think I get in my own way? These are deep questions. So if you've got somebody to work that with, that can be a really useful thing and really fun as well. On my website, yourzodiacsoul.com, there are free resources which you can download, which will interpret the planetary positions of your chart, with tables of each. So I've done brief interpretations for each planet in each sign, and there's a scoring system on that PDF document that you can download from the site, and that will allow you, as you're reading the book, you can have this handy guide to actually just work out, what you're scoring in each sign, and also, if you can just, if you can work with your birth chart through it, then that's a really helpful thing to do. You don't have to. It's designed so that you don't have to do that. But if you can and you do it, you can go even deeper with it, and you can understand more, your relationship to each of these 12 perspectives. My voice is starting to go, so I think I'm going to stop in a minute. But it's so lovely. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much to Geraldine and Bali.
Pleasure.
That's Bali.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It feels like the perfect place to do this, and it's just so cosy, isn't it? It's snug, and there are books.
Thank you.
There are books everywhere, and my book is now part of that, and it's so exciting. So yeah.
And as a bookseller, we were saying today that you can't have a book which you can only open on the 21st of March.
Exactly. Yeah.
And everybody's instinct is to start with themselves.
Oh, thank you.
And it's a good place to start. Do it. Go for it, because that's the one that interests you. That's the one that will grip you most. And work your way round and use that book for a year. And we particularly like the fact that you've got a month to work with these, seemingly, they look so nice in the typeface, but they're actually tricky questions, some of these. And there are genuinely useful insights. I mean, one of them, I was speaking through it, one of them is how to get a Libran to deal with conflict. Good luck with that.
We think about Libra being the sign of balance. Libra is all about conflict. Libra is where we learn about conflict.
Yeah.
It's the sign where we have to learn to step into the shoes of the other. We have to learn how it's seen from the other perspective. And there were so many paradoxes in each sign.
And we've launched lots of successful books here, and this one is already #2 on Amazon.
For astrology, keyword. So please feel free to put reviews up on Amazon.
Start with
don't be shy about it.
Yeah. And on a personal note, you came back with a book from Bali. I came back with a baby from Bali. Absolutely. So we wish you every success.
Thank you.
With
Can I just say thank you to my family as well, who are here. Thank you to my mum, who's here. So lovely to be here, Mum. And to my brother Graham and Sue, Graham's partner, and they've been so supportive and so incredibly supportive this year for me in putting this all together. Thank you. Thank you everybody for coming. There's so many people I want to thank, and it's just wonderful. Yeah, I'm so happy.
Thank you. It deserves to be good, because there are bits in there, and it just makes shit a little bit like that. It is different, and as I say, it looks, it's designed to be an attractive, readable book, but what you've actually put into it is much more weighty than I think.
It's a lot more. It's a lot weightier than it looks. I think people.
It really is. Yes. Yeah,
We've decided to get
Good
one
luck with
each
it.
and we're going
great.
to work together. you convinced us. I was going to read hers, but we're going to have both.
I didn't mean to
Good
do a big
sales,
marketing,
but then, yeah,
marketing thing.
good.
That's not really my style, but you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
So I can sign books now. So yeah, let me do that. I've got pen.
Christina.
I just realised something.
Yay!
Here we are. Thank you. You've got your magic
I need to get my magic pen back. It's in my other jacket. Mum, my jacket down on the floor.
John, I've got to go. Bye-bye, darling.
Such a support.
And it's the start.
Yeah, it's the start, isn't it?
So excited about the rest of it. Good luck.
Thank you for coming. It's Mark there. I'll say goodbye to Mark.
Okay.
So grab your pen.
Such an innocent book. It absolutely isn't.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you. Yeah. $14.99. Thank you.
Le taureau et le vieux.
Ouais, ouais, j'ai de la chance. Ouais. Non, mais je me sens énormément.
My magic signing pen. It is. So let me.
Just leave it there for a bit.
Yeah, I was looking at you. He got a strain.
Yeah. Years of training. It's what I do on bigger cameras.
You don't see too much of his face. You don't see too much of his face.
No.
With the magic of the sign.
Yeah, he didn't with Jesus though, so I think he's in good company.
Yeah. Enjoy. I recognise I can place you. Thank you. S.A.
Pleasure. Good to see you. I'm sure all will be well. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Look after yourself.